Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our first review for Season 10 of The Walking Dead, because this is for the premiere episode, Lines We Cross. Carl! I even went Halloween costume shopping. What do you guys think, right? Huh? You like it? Huh? Freaking terrible, right? I know. Awesome. So this one will be my spoiler review. It's just a couple days away here. I thought, like, okay, maybe we do non-spoiler and then spoiler, but it's like, just do the spoiler review. Let's go through everything. Let's talk about the premiere episode for The Walking Dead Season 10. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it'll be hitting, of course, on Sunday, and AMC Premiere messes it up for all of us, unfortunately, because... some people get to see it the week early, some people watch it online, and then, most people probably just watch it as per normal on Sunday nights when they can see it on cable on AMC. So, yeah, spoiler warning. Oh, man, so I really love this episode, man. I really did. This was so cool to see again. Of course, it's been a bit of a trying summer with the Walking Dead comic book series finally coming to an end, and Fear the Walking Dead having somewhat of a struggling second half to its fifth season, most people would agree. It's great to see old school Walking Dead back again, and of course, we're always kind of interested, I think, to see what the series feels like without Rick being in the show at this point, and of course, a lot of the kind of mainstay characters leaving. But I love the way they kind of work it in at the same time to where the show knows what it is, it knows who it's missing, and it pays homage to those characters, and it mentions those characters often, so you don't forget that you're, clearly watching the same series. The new intro for The Walking Dead Season 10, I absolutely love. It's much the same as the prior intro from Season, was it 9, when they introduced that new one? It was cool then, too, but they've added in kind of Rick on the bridge with, you see him there, and then you just see the explosion. And it's just a little touch, it's not like a totally new, revamped intro completely, but it's got some differences from before. And, just having little nods like that, just having little things like that to Rick and mentions of him in the episode, it makes it feel like it just feels right. You have the Brave Man story in this one, which is told from Judith to RJ, which is really great. And, so I like that line. He lives on in our hearts, that kind of thing. So it's cool. So it sort of knows what it is, and it kind of addresses it through the kids, right? You have Judith also lead us in with the introduction scene as she's kind of narrating kind of where we left off with the Red Fair, which a lot of us, if you haven't seen those episodes recently, it's on Netflix too with Walking Dead Season 9. You can watch it again. But, some brutal episodes near the end there with Alpha, and them kind of bringing it back up in kind of a cool way in this premiere episode with Sadiq having PTSD or having flashbacks of what he saw, and they look to be like new scenes for Alpha and for exactly what that looked like, and he's just getting, he's seeing the spider and he's getting these flashbacks, which was really cool because you see Alpha there, and she's got like this huge ass sword. There's like blood everywhere, and she's looking brutal, and it's like after lopping off heads, it's just, and there's like even you kind of like see a flash of like Henry, this kind of stuff, and some of the others, and man, what an awesome kind of refresher and also setup for this new season. Speaking of setup, that scene at the end of the episode was awesome. Okay, so this part we're getting to a little bit of spoilers for you guys, but basically there's a face-off scene, like between Carol and Alpha. I'm talking like, you want to talk setup. We're talking like WrestleMania promo here, as UFC 100 pay-per-view, to get to see Carol and Alpha throw down as Michelle. Where are Daryl and Carol? And then you see Carol kind of go over, and then Alpha kind of walks out like, oh, you looking for something? She kind of looks up at her, and it's just like this, of course, because of Henry and everything like that. I mean, you want to talk about an awesome promo. That is about as good of a promo as you could ever get. And then you have Carol kind of looks down at her like, oh, it's on. Awesome.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from the capital city of the United States of America, Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready
We just need Bruce or Michael Buffer to announce it, and then shit is real, right? So that's awesome. So I love kind of where the episode ends off, and that's sort of like the new kind of Kang era Walking Dead that we sort of see, which is like the premieres come in, and it's not like you can expect to see like a finale in the premiere or something like that, but you get that anticipation starting to build up to get to see Carol try to maybe get a revenge. The bitch has to die, right? Revenge on Alpha, and that's just so sick. And Alpha is so scary, even in this episode, even though she's barely in it, but she's in the PTSD scenes for Sadiq as he's shaking and everything. She's there to see just for a minute, literally, like at the end, or not even, like 30 seconds or something, and it's all you need. It's just done so brilliantly, so perfect. This episode is directed by Greg Nicotero, I think, right? Because, he directed this premiere, and man, it looks really good. I mean, the quality looks better than ever for Walking Dead. I don't know if they upgraded their equipment or they decided to go because they were using kind of old school horror movie equipment for a while to make it look like one of those old school horror movie shows, but I think in the last few years they've really stepped up, and this season looks incredible. Some of the slow motion kills, I mean, you almost forget, like for example, after watching Fear this summer with second half of season 5, how scary zombies can actually be when they're done by somebody like Greg Nicotero, where you got these water zombies that walk out, and they're just so brutally gross. They're just like, there's like things in them, and they're just bloated and stuff like this. And you got some of them at the training day sequence where you have Michonne, and she's like slow-mo dicing their heads in half, and then they do it again at the end with Daryl with the axe and stuff like that, and hitting the tree and some of the others too. Oh man, it's just so cool, because first of all, they make the zombies really scary, and then and they look 100% authentic. They look legitimate. And then also, I mean, you have the quality, the slow-mo, and just kind of the way it all kind of comes through. They just look really impressive and, scary. And then you don't know if any of them could be whispers. So you don't know if when they're near the border or they're possibly crossing the border, you've got this paranoia feel, which we get to feel through Sadiq and through some of the others in the episode, that you can understand, because you don't know which ones are them, which ones aren't. Even when Carol cuts the one at the neck, right, and doesn't just stab in the head or something, it's kind of like, oh, and then another one kind of as it's going down kind of reached up a little bit. And so I'm not, again, even as a viewer, maybe you have to watch it back a couple times with the fire and falling on them and stuff like this. You're not sure because they're so close. Could some of them that they kill actually be whispers, or are they all just regular walkers? It's not so easy to tell. It's not easy for them to tell in the episode, and it's kind of a little bit tricky for us to tell. So we'll see. But Alpha does know, of course, that they have effectively crossed the border again now and not followed her rules, and Carol doesn't give an F. And it's just really cool, the satellite crash and everything. So let's go scene by scene through the episode and go over everything that it includes, because this is a extended, jam-packed, awesome premiere. So we start things off with the satellite dish, which we can see has kind of spun out of orbit or whatever. It's somehow spun out, and it's kind of coming down to start off the episode. And that kind of gives us something sort of a little bit kind of fun in there, kind of to add to it, right, in addition to everything else we have going on. And it also forces the group to have to kind of cross the border in order to stop the fire from spreading, so that this forest fire doesn't kind of cross over and wipe out to the ocean side or pick up a lot of traction. And so they have to fight it off because it's so close to home for them at the ocean side. And the episode does mostly take place at the ocean side. We get to see a little bit of Alexandria, but mostly ocean side. So we have the satellite coming in, and we have Judith narrating us in. We have training day, so we have the different kind of text that comes across, and you get to see Cool, you get to see Aaron and some of the others at training day, and Aaron kind of already then playing up the idea of him sort of being the 2.0 Rick, I think, in a lot of ways. In some of the scenes here, like he runs across the bridge, and Michonne freaks out at him because, of course, she lost Rick on the bridge. And they think at this point that Rick is dead. They have no reason to think that he's still alive, right? So everybody's kind of paranoid with everything that's going on, and they're not sure. And and Aaron's tired of being Mr. Nice Guy, right? So that's cool. So he's kind of no more Mr. Nice Guy. He mentions Eric and Jesus, and then of course Michonne mentions later on Rick and Carl. And she also says they have a nuclear weapon and we don't. which is the Walker bomb that she has, where she has this, and we got to see, because they actually went there, Daryl and Carol, to check, and her walkers are not there. So her walkers are not in the cavern, or technically whatever kind of section that is, where you go down and you have all the rocks and everything. Or the scene at the end where Carol and Alpha face off, that's where all her walkers were before, when Alpha showed Daryl, her Omega weapon, sort of, or her nuke, that basically she could use one of her whispers, or she could do it herself, to just walk that mega herd into someone's community and absolutely wipe the whole place out. So she could easily march them towards Alexandria, Oceanside, Hilltop, and just wipe the whole damn place down with a few whispers, most likely. So that's what they're referring to with that there. The intro, like I said, was awesome. I really like just the way it looks and everything. The kind of the highlights there for Rick and for the others. Love all that stuff. We have Judith and RJ with a cool scene about the Brave Man later, but then at the beginning, them kind of finding the mask, and then you get the awesome intro, which was really cool. And that Tara, some mentions of some of the different survivors. Tara would have been proud, so that was cool. And I know one idiot that would have liked this, right? So that was cool too. So I like that. So good stuff, just to mention back to some of the others from before, so we don't forget, what it is, that we're watching, who it is that we're following, right? So gone but not forgotten, living on in our hearts, they say, right? So that's cool in the episode. So we have the campers, we have the walkers fight. Like I said, lots of super cool, just different walker kills throughout this episode. Michonne probably having the coolest ones, I want to say, because like the parts where she's cutting the like not just in half, but like in half, like this way and stuff, like the one that went in the water and looked a bit like kind of like it could become a mask, right? But we're to expect, I believe, afterwards that that's not the one that the kids found, and that the ones the kids found, at least so far as I read it, was actually a Whisperer mask. So they're in and around. There's also a group of campers that were somehow attacked, or walkers, and they could have been there for a while, not sure. So the question of whether or not they're the good guys, and Michonne later on says that they are. They are the good guys. The Brave Man story. We get to see Rosita and her rat pack, as I like to call them, which is just, Eugene, Sadiq, Gabriel, and so just, I don't know, Negan, I like Negan's jokes about that stuff, because it's just kind of silly to see them. She's like working out, and then you've got the baby, not the science experiment, which Eugene's got like all the charts and graphs and everything, which is kind of fun. Of course, he sees the satellite afterwards. He's like, oh my God, you got to, it's like, what about radiation? I don't worry, oh, dude. You genius. So I like that too. That was good stuff. And we do get some cool stuff with Negan in this one. He's in a little bit, not a whole lot, but of course he's back in Alexandria. And we have Lydia, who people do not trust Lydia. She can't read, apparently, because Alpha didn't care to teach her how to read. So it's just one of those types of situations where she cannot fit in. She's probably most similar to Negan in that he's working, and Negan back to work, and you got the spear guy following him. Is it Brandon? We'll see. We also have an appearance. So I like the stuff with Lydia, and I like the connection between her and Negan, that they're both these outcast outsiders, and he gives her some advice to watch her back, right? Watch your back, kids. So I like that. And we have Dante's first appearance in the episode, where he just comes in at a weird time, and he just comes across as annoying. He doesn't really come across as funny to me that, the we're gods, and, he hasn't seen anything, right? So he might think like that, but he hasn't encountered the Whispers, and he thinks it's kind of a joke, and he kind of makes a joke about it and that kind of thing, but it's in pretty poor taste at this time, because we also remember just seeing that, just like Sadiq did. And so it's an introduction for him. He's a comic character we've been waiting to see for a long time. In the comics, Dante was connected with Maggie at Hilltop, and in this case, looks like he's at Alexandria right now, but we'll see how they use him in the future, and he could become a very important character kind of later on. But he just comes across as this one, for me, I like to see him because it's a first appearance for a comic character, but he comes across as kind of annoying because just the set of circumstances. He comes in at like the worst time ever, and he's kind of jokey and sort of like, it's just it's not the right time. Sadiq is having these flashbacks and shit, which we totally understand, totally see. Negan gives Gabriel a piece of advice about people being scared, and them, and him kind of needing to lie to them or make them feel secure, which is kind of cool, which is sort of like a comic book thing that happened with Rick in the comics that's being given to Gabriel, as he's kind of like one of the leaders in Alexandria. You sort of have Gabriel, you have Aaron, I think, who's probably going to be like more of a long-term leader, and We'll see how long Gabriel actually survives the season, if he does survive the whole season. But I tend to think that Aaron's probably going to take over for that part. And, of course, we know Michonne's leaving, too, which they don't, really do much with at all yet. But it's just the first episode, so we'll see as things kind of go through here. And so we have kind of him, lock it down. Gabriel tells him to lock it down, that thing, and then, boom, they see the satellite coming through. So Negan's advice to him is to lie to them, which, if you talk politics, that's, how many politicians actually do what they say? Maybe they try, sometimes they try to do what they say they're going to do, but very few politicians actually follow through 100% with what they said they were going to do. There's some that do, and that's great when they do, but a lot of times they're just gaming people, right, to get the votes and stuff. So, but Negan's right here in this case. You have to make people feel secure, or you're going to have people, attacking Lydia, stuff like this, which we've already kind of seen. Maybe some, a shade thrown towards Lydia already, right, when she's in the room and stuff. And we get the sense that it's not just one person; it's everybody is pretty much like kind of giving her the side eye, right? So that's cool. We have Kelly, and then we've got which I'm glad they used her name because I always forget her, name, which I feel bad about. And then you have Connie as well too. That it's a superpower, and she flexes, which I like, right? So that's good. Pretty good arms. Not bad arms on Connie, right? Not bad. Not too bad. So that's fine. And then you have her and Daryl, which I just think is adorable. I think Connie's adorable. I think Daryl's adorable. And, I'm surprised how much they've used her already, but she's really been good. Maybe she's my favorite of Magna's new group. Like, I like Yumiko, I like Magna, they're fine, but Connie for me is kind of a standout so far out of their new group that they've kind of brought in. Out of all the new ones that came in with Magna, even though Magna was kind of leader of it, Connie's kind of my favorite so far. And it looks like Daryl is learning to sign for her. And we do get the sense in this episode that the Carol-Daryl idea, maybe Carol is pro that, but Daryl's not. And then, maybe Daryl and Connie could be getting together at some point here, which, like I said, I think is adorable. So that's fun stuff. So that's good. And then we get closer here to the New Mexico part. You have the parts with the deer, and Carol's just getting pissed off at the stupid border thing, and, it being kind of ridiculous. But then we have the satellite kind of crashing in, and them kind of having to get out there. And there's a question of them going west to New Mexico, but after Carol sees Alpha in this one, like, she's got unfinished business. She can't leave. And Daryl doesn't want her to go either because, of course, just they need her there. She's experienced. She's got, Carol's one of the toughest out of any of them. And to get vengeance for Henry, too, and for the others, she has to. But I did feel sorry for Ezekiel in this one because it's sort of like Carol comes back, and then Ezekiel's like, and then she's like, no. So it's just... It's sad for Ezekiel because I like Ezekiel a lot in the TV series. He's much better than the comic version ever was, I think. Gary Payton does a great job, so it was cool. And I feel sorry for him, right? He's actually become one of my more likable characters in the Walking Dead TV series out of the people who are still alive at this point and surviving. Ezekiel might be one of my favorites overall. So I actually hope I hope he doesn't get killed off this season. He's already survived longer than his comic counterpart did. If you guys don't know from the comics. So I hope he does survive on longer. You never know. We'll see. But, I hope so. So that's hopefully cool. So then we get the parts with the fire at the end. It's exciting. You have the boom. You have everybody kind of working really hard and trying to kind of stop the fire before it spreads and everything. And some cool walker kills here. There's a whole bunch of walkers come through. Maybe the tree falling on the others from Daryl throwing the axe was maybe the best one. That was really cool. And just questions of were they all, watching the episode through, were any of them supposed to be whisperers? Were they all just regular walkers? I'm not certain. For me, from what I saw through on first viewing, it looked like they were all walkers to me, but some of them did bleed quite a bit, especially the one that Carol had cut. I'm not sure. You guys let me know if you think any of those were possibly whisperers. I got the impression they weren't supposed to be, but maybe I missed something, or maybe there's something that stuck out to you guys that you can kind of, put in the comments below and let me know if any of them actually were whisperers. And if they did accidentally kill some whisperers here, then Alpha's going to be pissed, as she probably already is, because they're not they're not listening to the border. And so there's it's going to be something, right? It's going to be something. So. So I love the first episode. It's so great to have Walking Dead back. The quality of the episode was amazing. It was good to get to see everybody again, as far as all the different Daryl, Carol, everybody, Ezekiel, everybody else. Really cool, and freshen up my memory. for how things ended off last season before the winter episode, the Blizzard episode, to the Pike scene and kind of where we're at right now for Walking Dead. Nice shout-outs for some of the prior characters. Even Maggie gets a good number of mentions here in the episode, and we'll see if maybe at some point she'll be returning to The Walking Dead this season. I don't know if she will. Maybe she won't. Maybe it'll be season 11 or something if she does come back. Or maybe she won't come back at all. They haven't heard from her for a while, as Daryl kind of said in the episode. So, in terms of the score for the episode, difficult to kind of score because I did think it was an amazing episode and everything. It doesn't have anything, like the fire was kind of cool, the satellite was kind of cool. That's something memorable that they put in the premiere. But for me, the highlight might just be the face-off between Carol and Alpha at the end, which is absolutely awesome. So I guess I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think that's fair. I mean, I don't think it's one of the best episodes ever, but it's certainly an episode that builds anticipation. It's a nice start to a new season. It's got some cool stuff with the satellite and the other stuff in there, and the quality looks maybe better than ever for Walking Dead this year. So I think that's it for my review, guys. I like the premiere episode. Very excited to see season 10 of The Walking Dead. Kind of need that right now after the comics ending and everything else. It's like for Walking Dead fans, we kind of needed this, right? So we'll see how things go this season, how they work in kind of Michonne's leave, how many episodes she's going to be in, and when we're going to finally get to see Carol and Alpha throw down. That's going to be awesome. Hopefully soon. If you like this review, guys, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and certainly leave your comments. Let me know what you guys thought about this premiere. Did any of you think it was kind of dry or boring, or did any of you think it was, awesome like I did? How are you feeling? How are you feeling about the episode? How are you feeling about Walking Dead? And thumb up the video, share, favorite it, and subscribe to the bottom left if you're new. That's it for this one, and I'll see you guys back again soon for another Walking Dead video. Leave your questions for the Q&As, and probably on Sunday we'll do our predictions for the second episode, and I think that will air probably Friday or Saturday, like just a day or two before, so premiere won't, put us all at different spots too much for airing. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another review and another video for Walking Dead. As always, this is Trev. Stay in peace. Later, guys. See you soon.